I've just come in from the school run, that is why my hair looks a hot mess. But basically I thought that today I would do a reading vlog. It's been a while since I've done one. I think it was back in the summer the last time I did one, but basically I've had 6 days of intense social interaction. Friday, Saturday, Sunday we were at a conference, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we had open days at work, so I had to be really chatty and bubbly and friendly, which I am, but this introvert has just fried her brain. So I've got a few bits and pieces to do, but I don't have much on today or tomorrow, so I thought that I would do a reading vlog. So first things first, I'm gonna make a cup of tea and have something to eat, and then I'll go and fetch my books from upstairs and show you what I'm gonna be reading over the next few days. Okay, so books. I am about 5 pages from the end of The Handmaid's Tale. I was powering through it yesterday, but I fell asleep literally before I got to the end. So I've read the majority of the story. It's just kind of the notes section at the end, the kind of fictionalized notes section at the end that I've got to get through. So that is obviously the first thing that I'm going to read. And then this is where the confusion comes in, because I wanted to read The Winter Crown by Elizabeth Chadwick next, and I mentioned this in my end of year TBR, but I hadn't realised, and this is such a Jess thing to do, honest to goodness, but I had not realised that this was the second book in a series about Eleanor of Aquitaine, and the first book is called The Summer Queen or The Summer Crown or something like that. So I could technically buy The Summer Queen. So I could technically buy the first book, but I wanted to read this because of its wintry vibes, and I'm not sure that reading a book called The Summer Queen is quite going to go with the December weather. So I think that this one may end up being put on the back burner and struck from my end of year TBR before I even really began it. So then I was thinking, well, do I replace it with something else? I mean, really, I should pick up one of the other books from my 2017 TBR, which would be The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead, but I'm not sure if I'm feeling such a heavy book for the next couple of days. I mean, I definitely plan to read this in December. It's just with my current over-exhausted state of mind whether this is something that I could really do justice, and I want to enjoy this, and I really feel like reading a book at the wrong time can affect your enjoyment of it. So I'm not sure about this one. This one has a question mark, so that kind of leaves me with a couple of other options. I obviously have the third book in the Louise Penny Inspector Armand Gamache series. This is The Cruelest Month, and these are super easy, and this is probably, in all honesty, the book that I'm going to reach for, because they're just so easy to read and I can just fly through them. They're also not very thick, so this is a very strong contender. But as a final contender, and because I cannot stick to a TBR to save my life, I really also want to read The Glass Spare by Lauren DeStefano, which came in my November Owl Crate, and just sounds so good. And this is fantasy, and fantasy is my go-to genre when I'm feeling overwhelmed, because I read to escape. Fantasy offers the perfect level of escapism for me. So also, I don't know, I have a varied choice of books that I could reach for, and you know, typically me, I could end up not reading any of them and reading something else entirely, so we will see. But I am going to crack on with The Handmaid's Tale, get that done, ticked off, and then we'll see where the mood takes me. So it's about 20 minutes or so after I just filmed the TBR, and I have finished The Handmaid's Tale. I will of course talk about this in more detail in my November wrap-up, but I'm pretty certain that I'm going to give it maybe 3.5 stars. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought that the plot was unique and cleverly done. I thought the epilogue at the end went a long way to explaining the somewhat erratic narration style that takes place through most of the book and had me scratching my head for quite a lot of the story. And I also thought that Atwood's writing, I mean, I know it was written in the 80s, but I thought that sometimes her choice of words was more for shock factor than for the benefit of the plot, and there was just something missing for me that turned this from an okay enjoyable read to an amazing one. But I did enjoy it. I'm really glad that I read it. I said in my end of year TBR that I was curious about it, simply because so many people have such strong feelings. Either they really like it or they really dislike it. So I'm pleased that I have read this, that I can tick it off, and that now I can move on to something else. I currently have my lunch of champions. I absolutely love this combination. I'm not sure what happened to the soup around the outside, that looks a bit weird, but I have tomato soup, I have crackers with a little bit of Marmite on because I'm one of those weird people who doesn't love it, doesn't hate it, but kind of somewhere in the middle. And I'm also watching Criminal Minds, which has just come onto Sky. All of the box sets are on Sky, so I'm currently watching that. But how sad is this? I can only watch it during the day because it really freaks me out. It's so creepy. So I'm gonna eat this lunch. I'm gonna eat this lunch and I'm gonna watch this episode, and then I'm gonna get on with some more reading. I've taken a break in my reading because I've just taken delivery of a package from everything5pounds.com. I have mentioned this brand in my vlogs before. I've bought quite a few things from them and I'm going to be working with them on an Instagram post. So basically they gifted me an amount of money and asked me to put together some outfits. So I'm going to quickly show you what's inside. Okay, so I will just take you really quickly through the things that I bought. As I said, if you look over on Instagram, and I'll insert my Instagram name here, you'll see a proper picture of me in all this stuff. So I'm just going to show you really quickly. So this is a Christmas is Coming sweater done in the style of Winter is Coming from Game of Thrones. It's actually not very thick material. You can see my fingers through it there. It's got kind of a shiny detail on the collar, and then a gold zip which runs down the back. It actually looks pretty big, and this is a size 6. I'm pretty certain that everything that I ordered is a size 6. But anyway, that is that. And then continuing my love of all things Chicago based, this is a thick grey jersey sweater that says Chicago 1994 Midtown on it. It's got kind of a roll detail on the top, and again along the bottom hem, if the camera will go for it, it's got that same kind of detail. This is really thick and really soft, and again, obviously, I mean, I'm saying obviously because I know, but everything from this shop is £5. That's why the name of it is £5, and you don't often know, the catch is you don't often know the shop that it's come from, but obviously you can see that this is from New Look, and it tends to be high street brands like that. And then this is the shirt, oh, it's got something on it. This is the shirt that James picked for me along with some skinny jeans, and it actually is a lot more brown. Online it looked, I said that really funny, didn't I? Online it looked more of a mustardy colour, but this is a long shirt dress. It's got belt, it's got very military-esque, oh my word, you can tell I'm not a fashion blogger or vlogger, can't you? Military-esque. It has a very military-esque feel to it with the buttons and kind of the buttons on the shoulders and everything, and it's very thick material. So yeah, that's what he chose for me to wear. And then this I chose, I was only choosing 2 outfits, but I picked up some other bits. So this was my outfit to kind of say cozy winter wear, and I absolutely love it. It's got this big squishy wide collar, and it's this thick knitted white material. Again, this is a 6 and it looks really big. I mean, I guess wearing an oversized jumper in the winter is not the end of the world, but yeah, I absolutely love that. Then these are the jeans that we both put in the basket, as it were. This is a brand that I don't recognise either, so if anybody is familiar with it, Never Denim, I think that says Never Denim. So these are grey skinny jeans, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm worrying about the tops being too big. They look really small. So the size 6 tops all appear to be quite big, but that looks really, really tiny. But anyway, yeah, so they're just like they're actually really soft. You know, nothing passes me by, super soft. So yeah, I will give them a go. And then, because I love all things tartan all the time, every day, I bought a red tartan shirt, which is so soft. I have a red tartan shirt, but it has been worn and washed so many times. It has shrunk and it's gone really starchy. So I have been on the lookout for a new one, and this looks perfect. Although again, I'm going to say it's a UK 6, but it looks big. I don't know, maybe it's just me today. Maybe I'm just thinking that everything should be really small. So that was my everything £5 haul. As I said, keep your eye out on Instagram for photos of me in those clothes and possibly a blog post as well. But yeah, now I'm going to get back to reading. So we are coming up to 4:15 and I'm just getting ready to go and get the kids. They both had after school clubs today. Meg had book club and Eli had chess club, so I'm picking them up a little bit later, but it meant that I was able to read about 100 pages of The Glass Spare, which is just so easy to read. It's so well written and so easy to read, so it's definitely a good choice. I also managed to edit and upload a couple of videos, so very, very productive. Now we're going to scramble into town. I've got a couple of errands to run and then I'm going to come back here. Eli has football this evening and James usually takes Megan with him when he goes as well, so I may have an hour and a half to do some more reading then. So yeah, overall a really productive afternoon. I've really enjoyed picking up The Glass Bear. I think it was definitely the right choice of book to pick up and read, and hopefully I'll make some more headway later on today. Oh, it is absolutely bitter. It's like -1 and I have got Megan and Eli. Who've been to book club and chess club, and they've finished now, so they both come out with cute little trinkets. But now we're going to whiz into town and pick up some advent calendars and some dog food and just run some general errands as quickly as we can. Absolute mad rush, picking the kids up from school, then shooting into town to get advent calendars, and then coming back in time for football. But now you can see behind me we have them. So we've got Meg chose a T-Rex one, weirdly. Eli chose a DC Superheroes one. I actually think I got that right then, accidentally, and they chose a Transformers one for James, and then I have my really small IKEA one there. And yeah, so now James has come back. He's taken the kids to football. On a Thursday we kind of have a lazy tea, so we'll have takeout, probably Chippy, because that's just down the road from us and it's super easy. So we'll probably have that, but I have about an hour now when I can just get some more reading done. So I'm gonna snuggle under my blanket, I'm gonna have a decaf tea, and I'm gonna read some more of The Glass Sphere. It's about 7:30 and I think that James is gonna be back with the kids any moment. I'm currently on page 150 of The Glass Spare, and so far it's okay. It's written in third person, so it's a little bit, I feel a little bit detached from the characters, and at page 100 this really major plot point happened and was over and done with in basically a paragraph, which was a bit of a surprise. I kind of knew that it was coming because of the blurb, but at the same time it sort of happened, and then yeah, it was just over and done with really, really quickly, which I found a bit surprising. So it's actually quite a fast moving story, and that would be fine if it was a standalone, but I don't think that it is. I think it's the first one in at least a duology. So yeah, enjoying it so far, curious to see what happens next. I'm enjoying the kind of, I'm always getting like steampunk vibes from the setting. It's kind of got some modern elements but also some really old-fashioned elements, so I'm enjoying the setting and I'm enjoying the world building. Hopefully I'll develop a bit more sympathy for some of the characters as I make my way through the story, but I'm going to take a break now because I think James will be home with dinner anytime soon. So we'll eat as a family, put the kids to bed, and then I'll possibly try and read maybe another 50 pages or so tonight. Oh my word, could my face be any more red? It's absolutely freezing. It's -2 and I don't know, it's -2, which is not as cold as it has been, but it just feels so cold this morning. And you can see by my cherry red face that I've been running to get the kids to school. So this morning, I've got a few errands to run. I am about halfway through the glass spare. But I've got a few Christmassy errands that I need to run. If you watched Vlogmas last year, then you'll know that we do something called the kindness elves, and they're just like Elf on the Shelf, but they come and ask the kids to do kind things every day. And last night we were looking for them and we found the elves, but we couldn't find the elf door, and we were kind of like, oh well, the kids won't mind, it'll be fine. But Eli was devastated this morning when he couldn't find the elves and when he couldn't find the elf door. So I'm gonna have to run out and try and find an elf door on the 1st of December, and we're gonna try and do it a little bit later today. So yeah, I've got to run a few Christmassy errands this morning, and then I'm gonna go and hibernate in the house, I think, because it is cold today. It's lunchtime now on Friday, and as I mentioned earlier, I had a few errands to run, and I've kind of faffed around this morning just doing bits that needed to be done basically for the weekend, and just outstanding bits and pieces that people had asked me to do. So I've done that now. I'm still I haven't read anything yet, but I'm going to make some lunch and then I'm going to try and read at least another 50 pages of The Glass Spare. I need to film my November wrap up, and I'd quite like to include that one in, even though technically I'll have finished it in December, but that's neither here nor there. So I'd like to include that one in. I am going to have some lunch and then I'm going to sit and hopefully read some more of my book.
Only one, hang on, only one.
I feel like I started this reading vlog so strong and then I've just kind of faded to the end really. It's Friday evening, I've just picked the kids up, now we're at home, we're going to chill out this evening, and I have not managed to read any more significantly of The Glass Spare. I am enjoying it and I do want to find out more, but I just got tangled up in doing bits and bobs this evening. So I'm sorry that I'm ending on a little bit of a low, but hopefully I will get most of the book read this weekend and then my wrap up will go live next week. But as always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, do let me know, because I'm never really sure if it's very interesting watching someone else read books, but I thought that I quite fancied doing one, so I did. But yeah, don't forget to hit subscribe if you're new and you haven't already, and I will see you all soon.